The iron gates were still rolling open when Tyler Okonkwo heard a sound that did not belong in his house. His mother's gasp. It cut through the quiet like glass breaking. He had come back early, no convoy, no calls, no warning. The sunrise was still low over the tall pines of Buckhead, and a wet smell, mop water and bleach, hung in the entryway of the mansion he had built for peace. He stepped inside and froze. Vanessa stood at the top of the front steps, a silver bucket tilting from her hand. The water in it was gray and foul with soap and dirt. His mother, Adaeze, stood in her Ankara wrapper at the bottom of the steps, one hand gripping the banister, the other pulling 9-year-old Ava behind her. 14-year-old Maya was between them and the splash zone, wide-eyed, clutching her school backpack like a shield. "Move," Vanessa said, voice cold. "Out of my way." She lifted the bucket. Tyler didn't shout. He didn't need to. He moved. In 3 strides he was at the stairs, his hand closing around the bucket handle just as the dirty water began to tip. It sloshed, catching the light, a gray arc held back by his grip. "Enough," he said. Vanessa's head jerked toward him. For a half-second, surprise cracked her smooth, practiced face. "Tyler? You weren't supposed to be back till tonight." Plans changed. The mop water slid back into the bucket with a thick gulp. He lowered it to the polished floor. Behind him, Maya exhaled. Ava's small fingers dug into Adaeze's wrapper, and Adaeze, regal even in shock, lifted her chin and met her son's eyes. No tears. Only a tired, aching question. "Did you see?" "I saw," Tyler said. Vanessa rolled her eyes with a laugh that didn't sound like humor. "This is not what it looks like." "Then tell me what it is," Tyler said, voice steady, the way it sounded in boardrooms when a deal was about to die. He kept his eyes on Vanessa, but his body turned slightly toward his family. "Maya, take your sister and sit with Grandma in the study. Close the door." Maya grabbed Ava's hand. They went. Adaeze followed, moving with slow dignity, not once looking back at Vanessa. The study door clicked shut. The house fell silent. "You let your mother disrespect me," Vanessa said, hard and quick. "She walks into my kitchen. She tells my staff how to cook. She rearranges my pantry like I'm her maid. She tells your daughters I'm not their real mother. I won't be treated like that in my own home." Tyler glanced at the bucket. A gray ring had settled around the waterline. He saw the yellow mop leaning against the wall. He saw the wet streaks on the stairs, big messy strokes. He pictured the moment he hadn't seen. Vanessa stepping toward his mother, arm cocked, voice sharp. "My mother is a guest," Tyler said. "This is my home. And those are my daughters." "Your daughters?" Vanessa repeated, the words like coins she was counting and finding short. "What about your wife? Or do you only use that word when you want a picture of a perfect life for your little news interviews?" "You don't pour dirty water on elders," he said softly. "Not in Lagos. Not in Atlanta. Not anywhere that respects itself." Vanessa's mouth twisted. "You married me for a reason, Tyler. You wanted a partner who wasn't afraid to take control. A house this big needs order. Your mother brings chaos. Your girls need discipline." "My girls need kindness," Tyler said. "And what do you need?" she asked, stepping closer until the citrus of her perfume brushed against the chemical sharp of the mop water. "Your ex-wife failed you. Your partners failed you. Even your precious charities fail you." "I don't." "You just did." He took out his phone, typed a single code, and the house shifted. Locks clicked. A soft chime sounded as the security system shifted to a new mode. On the far wall, a small red light came on. Vanessa's chin lifted. "What did you do?" "I locked your profile out of the system," he said. "The car won't start for your key. Your cards in the house are frozen. The room downstairs, pack whatever belongs to you. Security will escort you out in 15 minutes. She stared, stunned into silence for the first time since he had met her. Slowly the heat came back into her face. "You're evicting me?" "I'm removing danger from my house." "You think you can throw me out like I'm nothing?" Her voice rose. "After the ring you put on my finger? After the wedding you posted? After all the people who watched me walk down your garden aisle and call me Mrs. Okonkwo? You threw yourself out," he said quietly, "when you lifted that bucket." For a moment, something moved behind her eyes, a flicker of panic, a quick count of what she could hold on to. Then it hardened into ice. She straightened, smoothed her dress, and smiled the smile she wore at charity galas. "Fine," she said. 15 minutes. She picked up the bucket, walked past him to the laundry room, and poured the dirty water into the sink with a petty slam of the handle. She set the bucket down gently after, her control back in place. She turned to him with that smooth smile. Your mother won this round, she said. But your mother doesn't sleep in your bed. Noted, Tyler said. She took the stairs, heels clicking. He listened until he heard the door to the guest suite close. Then he let out the breath he had been holding since he stepped into the house. He turned and walked to the study. Adaeze sat straight-backed on the leather couch, her wrapper neat, her eyes bright in the way that comes when a storm finally breaks. Maya sat beside her, one arm around Ava, who had tucked her face into Grandma's shoulder. I am sorry you saw that, Tyler said. We saw you, Adaeze replied. That is enough. Ava peeped out. Daddy, is Miss Vanessa leaving? Yes, he said. She is leaving today. Good, Maya whispered, not brave enough to say it louder but brave enough to say it. Adaeze touched Tyler's hand. It was a mother's touch, the same one from years ago in a Lagos kitchen where the pepper soup was always hot, and the floor was always clean, not with bleach but with care. A man protects his house, she said. Even if he returns without calling first. He smiled, a small thing. I missed your yam porridge. She smiled back. I will make it. After we open the windows and let this smell go away. They stayed there a moment, breathing together. The house, which had felt like a stage a minute ago, began to feel like a home again. Then the front door opened and footsteps came down the stairs, fast, angry. Vanessa appeared with a carry-on bag, a small leather purse, and a folded garment bag she had never once used to carry anything that didn't have a label. Your 15 minutes are up early, Tyler said. I don't need 15 minutes, she replied. I only needed enough to pack what was mine before your staff tried to steal it. No one is stealing from you, he said. If anything is missing, we'll have it sent. Oh, I'll send something, she said, eyes flashing to the study door as if she knew they were there and wanted them to hear. A lawyer. Send 3, Tyler said. It won't change what you did. She laughed, sudden and harsh. You always think money will save you. But money buys enemies, Tyler. Remember that. Security, Tyler called, and 2 guards in dark suits appeared from the hallway. They waited by the door, respectful but firm. Vanessa put on her sunglasses even though the foyer was dim. She shifted her carry-on so the wheels clicked. She looked at the study door again as if trying to see through it. Goodbye, Grandma, she said sweetly to the wood. Goodbye, girls. Learn some manners. Ava flinched. Maya's jaw clenched. Tyler started to step forward, then stopped. He would not give her the show she wanted. Vanessa stepped toward the guards, then turned back for one last line. You'll call me, she said to Tyler. You always do. He didn't answer. The guards opened the door. The morning light laid a bright stripe across the marble. Vanessa walked into it, paused and looked back one more time. The smile was gone. Something sharp and thin lived in her face now. This is not over, she said. The door closed behind her. Silence returned, the heavy kind that follows thunder. Tyler stood still until the gate motor hummed again and a car engine started up the drive. He didn't relax, he didn't know how to yet. Instead, he went to the security console and brought up the front camera. He watched Vanessa roll her carry-on across the gravel, slide into the back seat of a waiting black sedan, and lean forward to speak to the driver. Her mouth moved. The driver nodded. The car did not pull out right away. Tyler felt a small thud in his chest, like the body knows something the mind hasn't named. He switched to the street camera. Parked across from the mansion was another black vehicle, engine running, windows tinted. He hadn't noticed it when his own gates opened earlier. Now, as he watched, Vanessa's sedan flashed its lights twice. The car across the street flashed back. Adaeze stepped up behind him, quiet as a memory. What is it? He didn't take his eyes off the screen. He zoomed in. The second car's license plate was hidden behind a dark frame. The driver's arm rested on the window edge, a hand tapping the door with slow, patient rhythm. Tyler's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number slid across the screen. Enjoy your morning drive. He looked at the time. The driver would be bringing his SUV around to take Ava to school and his mother to the doctor's appointment later. He reached for the intercom to tell the garage to wait, to check, to do anything but start the car. His finger hovered over the button. In the driveway view, the garage door began to rise. The SUV's lights blinked on. Tyler's heart kicked hard. He pressed the intercom button. And outside, as the SUV's engine turned over, something under the chassis made a faint, unnatural click. Cut the engine. Everybody out now. Tyler's voice hit the garage intercom before the word, now, left his mouth. The SUV coughed once and went quiet. The faint click under the chassis echoed in the concrete room like the memory of a snake's rattle. The garage door froze halfway up. The driver, Kelvin, The new one Vanessa had insisted on hiring, opened his door slowly, hands up. "Boss, what's happening?" "Step away from the vehicle," Tyler said. "Do not touch anything else." Security moved fast. Mr. Bello, head of the detail who had been with Tyler since Lagos, slid a wheeled inspection mirror under the SUV. Two other guards formed a human wall between the garage and the mudroom that led into the house. Tyler kept one eye on the camera feed and another on the study door, where his mother and daughters waited. "There," Mr. Bello said. He crouched, voice calm, trained for fear. Magnet-mounted device near the rear axle. Wires to the ignition harness. Kelvin swallowed hard. Sweat beaded on his forehead. I just started my shift." "Back against the wall," Mr. Bello said without looking at him. "Do not move." Tyler hit another code. The house went into lockdown. Fire doors sealed off the garage. Vent fans clicked on. He called 911, gave their address and used short, clean words. Possible explosive device. No one injured. Lockdown in place. He barely finished before he called the private bomb team that covered half the corporate buildings he owned. In Buckhead, help moved when a billionaire asked. Adaeze opened the study door as far as the safety chain allowed. We heard shouting. "Stay with the girls, Mama," Tyler said. "We are safe for now." "Prayer is already working," she said and closed the door again. On the monitor, the camera watching the street showed the second sedan pulling off slowly, like it had only ever been a neighbor waiting for a friend. The car Vanessa rode in followed it at a steady distance. They did not look back. Within minutes, blue lights washed the driveway. The bomb squad moved like a quiet storm. No panic, no heroics, just heavy gear and careful hands. A tech laid down a small drone, guided it under the SUV, snapped photographs, then backed away. "Looks real," the team lead said. "Ignition triggered, likely also rigged to speed or gear shift. Whoever put this knew what they were doing." "Can you neutralize it?" Tyler asked. "We can. Everyone stays clear." "Driver, you were about to start this car?" the team lead asked Kelvin. Kelvin nodded, eyes glassy. "Yes, sir. For the school run." "You might be the luckiest man in Atlanta," the team lead said. "You didn't shift to drive." Luck, Tyler thought, or a message that needed him to see the threat before it bloomed. Either way, Mercy had slid into the house on a thin edge. They worked. A small robot rolled in. A tiny pop sounded like a knuckle cracking. 10 long minutes later, the device lay in pieces inside a blast box, the danger reduced to steel and wires. "It would have done damage," the lead said, setting his helmet under his arm. "Maybe not destroy the whole garage, but enough to hurt whoever was nearby. We'll take it in." "Thank you," Tyler said, and meant it with the weight of every name he paid to keep his family breathing. Police took statements. Mr. Bello gave camera footage. The earliest clear view was at 4:11 a.m., a sliver of a figure sliding low along the driveway's hedge line, head averted, hoodie up. The person moved like someone who had cleaned many luxury cars and knew exactly where they could hide a small death. "Pause," Tyler said. The frame froze. Light from a motion sensor lit the side of the figure's face for a breath. Kelvin inhaled with a small, broken sound. "Is that you?" Tyler asked without accusation, only the need to know. Kelvin shook his head too fast. "No, boss. That's not me. That, maybe the height, but I wasn't here. I swear." Mr. Bello zoomed. A small scar ran from the figure's ear down to the jaw. Kelvin lifted a trembling hand to his own smooth cheek. "No scar. 2 weeks on the job," Mr. Bello said, quiet. "Hired during Mr. Tyler's Lagos trip." "Who interviewed you, Kelvin?" Kelvin blinked. "Mrs. Vanessa. She said you were busy. She said she could approve staff." Tyler felt a slow burn work up from his chest. He had given Vanessa keys to make his life easier. She had used them to open doors he would never have touched. "Run background checks again," he said. "On everyone hired in the last 2 months. House, office, charities. Use Lagos and Atlanta teams." He stepped aside while officers asked Kelvin more questions. In the kitchen, Adaeze had finally opened windows. Morning air moved the curtains. The smell of bleach was fading under the soft steam of yam porridge simmering. Maya stood at the stove, stirring the pot the way Grandma had taught her, slow, with patience so the cubes didn't break. Ava sat on the counter swinging her feet, her doll tucked safe in her lap, watching her father like people watch the weather. "Can we still go to school?" Ava asked. "Not in that car," Tyler said, managing a small smile. "Mr. Bello will arrange a different ride. And only after the police say it's safe." Maya's voice was steady, but her eyes were older than last week. "Dad, did Miss Vanessa do this?" Someone working with her did, Tyler said, because children deserve truth, not fog. But we are not going to be afraid in our own house. Not today. Ava nodded hard as if agreement could build walls. They ate a quick breakfast at the island, quiet, grateful for the normal motions of spoons and steam. Adaeze's proverbs floated like ropes across deep water. When the road is rough, it is the feet that keep the balance, she said, and wiped a dot of porridge from Ava's chin. Tyler's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. He didn't open it. He handed it to Mr. Bello. The security chief read, jaw tightening. Same number that texted earlier, Mr. Bello said. New message, you're careful at home. Are you careful everywhere? Trace it. We are trying. Mr. Bello hesitated. Sir, there's something else. Patrol officers are at the gate. Not bomb squad. City police. They say your wife filed an emergency petition. Claims of domestic abuse and unlawful eviction. They're asking you to step outside. Adaeze's spoon paused midair. Maya looked up. Ava's feet went still. Tyler stood, the anger in him cooling to steel. I never touched her. They still have to check, Mr. Bello said. We'll be with you. At the front door, 2 officers waited, hats low, voices neutral. Mr. Okonkwo, we received a complaint this morning. We need to speak with you and confirm everyone is safe. There is also a temporary order requesting you vacate the premises for 72 hours. Tyler stared a beat too long. I filed no such order. My children and mother are here. A bomb device was just removed from my garage. We're aware of the call, one officer said, not unkind. These processes sometimes overlap. Come in, Tyler said. You will see everyone is safe. And you will note the cameras. They walked the house. Adaeze greeted them with dignity. Maya, measured in her words, described what she saw on the stairs. Ava hugged Grandma and whispered, Do they take Daddy away? Loud enough for all to hear. The officers softened at the edges. No one is being arrested, the lead said. We just gather facts. Gather fast, Tyler said. Because someone tried to harm my family an hour ago. Backstory rose in him as if the day demanded context. He thought of Nia, the girl's mother, who had chosen quiet over wealth, and how their marriage had ended not in scandal but in distance when his world expanded faster than his heart. He thought of how lonely a big house can be when school shoes are small. He thought of Vanessa at a charity gala, bright and certain, the way she had said, You build things. I keep them running. He had believed it because he wanted to. Belief, he knew now, can be another word for blindness. His phone vibrated in his pocket. This time it was Maya's phone that buzzed louder. She pulled it out. Unknown, she said, making her face brave. She swiped. A video window opened. The image was grainy, live, aimed through a windshield. Dad, Maya whispered, that's Ava's school. Ava slid off her chair and pressed to Maya's side. On the screen, the green awning at the front of Pinecrest Academy came into view. Cars rolled by. A woman's hand, manicured, held the phone. The camera tilted, catching a profile in the car's back seat. Sunglasses. A smooth mouth set in a smile that wasn't happy. A voice came through the speaker, sweet and low. Pickup is in 10 minutes. Let's see if Daddy can be everywhere at once. The video ended. A text followed it immediately, a single line that turned the kitchen cold. Bring me my ring and my place, Tyler. Or I'll take something you love more than both. Maya's hand shook. Ava wrapped both arms around Grandma's waist. Adaeze's eyes flashed with a kind of old fire that had traveled oceans. Outside, police radios crackled. Inside, the porridge steamed and went quiet. Tyler lifted his head. The father, the son, the builder in him stood in the same space. The day had started with a bucket and nearly ended with a bomb. Now it asked him what kind of war he was willing to fight and how fast he could move. He opened his mouth to speak to his team, to his mother, to his girls. Before he could, the security console chimed. Mr. Bello looked down, frowned, then looked up hard. Sir, he said. The footage that shows the device being planted, it's not just a hooded figure. 30 seconds earlier, the side door opened from inside. The code used is registered to housekeeping. And housekeeping is, Tyler began. Your cousin's wife, Kayamika, Mr. Bello said. The one who begged Vanessa for a job last month. The house drew one long, collective breath. And in the drive, the school car horn sounded twice, the sound threading through the morning like a dare. Tyler's pulse thundered in his ears. Nobody moves until I say so, he said, the words quiet but slicing through the thick air. Mr. Bello's eyes swept the monitors again. The horn outside blared twice more, sharp and deliberate this time. Adaeze pulled Ava closer, her arms circling the trembling girl. That is the same car they use for school pickup, isn't it? She asked in a low voice. It is, Maya whispered, clutching her grandmother's wrapper. But we didn't order it today. Tyler motioned to the nearest guard. Lock down the gate. Check who's in that car. No one opens the door until I see their face. The guard nodded and moved quickly toward the control room. Tyler turned to Mr. Bello. Bring Kayamika to me. Now. Yes, sir. Minutes stretched like rope. Outside, the hum of engines filled the air. Through the window blinds, Tyler could see the shadow of the black car near the gate, same one that had been idling across the street earlier. The audacity of it made his chest tighten. Whoever was behind the wheel wasn't afraid anymore. They wanted him to see. Then came the sound of soft, reluctant footsteps in the hallway. Mr. Bello returned with Kayamika, dark-skinned, early 30s, wearing her green housekeeping uniform. Her eyes darted everywhere except Tyler's face. You opened the side door at 4 a.m., Tyler said evenly. Who was that person you let in? I didn't, sir, she said, shaking her head. Her braids swayed with emotion. I swear on my children, I didn't open that door. The system doesn't lie, Mr. Bello said. He slid a tablet across the counter showing the time-stamped footage. Kayamika walking down the hallway, tapping her badge at the keypad, then disappearing toward the garage door. She froze. Talk, Tyler said. Tears sprang to her eyes. Madam Vanessa called me last night. She said the car was having electrical problems. She told me to open the side door for a mechanic she was sending to fix it before morning so the girls could go to school safely. I didn't know what they were doing, sir, please. Tyler closed his eyes briefly. You didn't think it was strange that she called you after midnight when she was no longer welcome in this house? She said you changed your mind, sir, Kayamika sobbed. She said you wanted everything to be fine before you got back. I swear I just did what she asked. Tyler's throat went tight. You let them plant a bomb in the car that was supposed to carry my mother and my daughters. She collapsed to her knees. Forgive me, sir. I didn't know. Adaeze stood silently, face carved in steel. When a snake enters through kindness, it still bites, she murmured. Tyler motioned for Mr. Bello to take Kayamika away for police questioning. As they left, he turned toward the console again. The front camera feed flickered, static for a second, and then showed the car outside reversing suddenly. The driver wasn't Kelvin or any of the house drivers. It was Vanessa. Her sunglasses gleamed in the morning sun, her lips curved into a slow, knowing smile as she lowered the window. She's here, Tyler muttered. Adaeze gasped softly. That woman has madness in her eyes. Vanessa waved toward the camera, then held up her phone. Moments later, Tyler's own phone buzzed. A video call request. Mr. Bello reached for it, but Tyler shook his head. No, I'll answer. He tapped accept. Vanessa's face filled the screen. Her lipstick was perfect, her expression calm. Good morning, darling, she said sweetly. Did you get my message? You mean the bomb under my car? Tyler's voice was steady, but rage lived beneath it. Oh, that, she laughed lightly. Just a warning. You embarrassed me, Tyler. You made me look like trash in front of your family and your guards. Now, I just want what's mine. You nearly killed my mother and daughters, he said, jaw tight. But I didn't, she said smoothly. See? I'm merciful. Vanessa, whatever you think you want, this isn't the way. Her voice dropped lower. It's the only way you'll listen. You took my home, my accounts, my place beside you. But you still have something that belongs to me. And what's that? She leaned forward. You. The call cut off. Tyler exhaled slowly, pressing his thumb and forefinger against his eyes. She's unhinged. Son, Adaeze said quietly, a woman scorned is like a broken calabash, she spills in every direction. You must be wise now. He nodded, straightening. Mr. Bello, alert the police that she's on the property. Make sure the kids stay inside the panic room. Yes, sir. Before the guards could move, a loud bang shook the front of the house. Glass shattered. Maya screamed. Ava clutched her grandmother tightly. Down? Mr. Bello shouted, pulling them toward the kitchen wall. Another crash followed, this time from the garage. She's ramming the gates, one guard yelled. Tyler ran toward the foyer, ignoring the debris crunching beneath his shoes. Through the broken front window, he saw Vanessa's car halfway through the gate, bumper dented, engine smoking. She was screaming something he couldn't hear through the ringing in his ears. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Vanessa stumbled out of the car, hair wild, face streaked with sweat and fury. You think you can destroy me, Tyler? She shouted, voice cracking. You think you can throw me away like dirt? Stay back. Tyler yelled through the shattered doorway. The police are on their way. Don't do this. She laughed, a sound half sob, half madness. I already did. You just haven't seen how it ends. Her hand dipped into her purse. Gun. Mr. Bello shouted. Tyler dove sideways as the first shot ripped through the doorway, splintering wood. Adaeze screamed from the kitchen. The second shot hit the wall behind him, sending dust and shards flying. Mr. Bello and another guard returned fire, hitting the car's hood. Vanessa screamed, ducked behind the wrecked vehicle, then fired again blindly. The air was chaos, sirens, screams, shattering glass, the smell of oil and gunpowder. Then, as suddenly as it began, there was silence. Police vehicles screeched to a stop outside. Drop your weapon, an officer shouted through a megaphone. Vanessa stepped out from behind the car slowly, both hands trembling. Her eyes met Tyler's through the doorway, rage, hurt, and something like despair all tangled together. She lowered the gun halfway, then raised it again, aiming directly at him. A single crack echoed. Vanessa's body jerked backward. The gun slipped from her fingers, clattering onto the concrete. She crumpled beside the smoking car, blood spreading across the driveway. The officers rushed in, shouting orders. Tyler stood frozen, chest heaving, watching the woman he once called wife lie motionless on the marble steps. Adeeze's voice broke through behind him, soft but heavy. Evil never wins, my son. But its shadow lingers. He turned slowly toward her. It's over. She shook her head. No. It has just begun. You do not know who helped her. And as if to prove her right, Tyler's phone buzzed again. This time, not from Vanessa's number. The screen showed a new contact name he had never seen before. Phase 2, begin. Tyler's hand went cold. He looked up toward the broken gates where officers were surrounding Vanessa's fallen body. Only to see one of them glance at his phone, nod slightly, and walk calmly back toward the car Vanessa had arrived in. The vehicle door opened by itself, remote-controlled, and a faint beep came from inside. Tyler's stomach dropped. Everybody get back, he shouted. It's rigged. The rest of his words vanished in a deafening explosion that lit the driveway in blinding white. Also, tell us where you're watching from, your city or country. Thumbs up, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this story if you're enjoying it so far. There's more suspense ahead in the next chapter. Smoke curled into the sky, thick and black. Tyler's ears rang as if the world had folded in on itself. He lay face down on the marble floor, dust coating his tongue, the smell of burning rubber and gasoline filling his lungs. Dad. Maya's scream cut through the haze. He forced his eyes open. The house was a mess of broken glass, scattered debris and shattered memories. Part of the front wall was gone. Curtains fluttered wildly in the hot wind blowing through what used to be the grand foyer. Dad. Grandma's bleeding. That was enough. Tyler staggered to his feet, ignoring the blood dripping from a cut on his forehead. The air shimmered with heat as he stumbled through the ruined entryway toward the kitchen. Adaeze sat slumped against the cabinet, one hand pressed to her arm where shrapnel had grazed her. Maya and Ava were beside her, Ava sobbing, Maya trying to help. I'm okay, Adaeze said weakly. Just a scratch. The girls, check them first. Tyler knelt. Ava? The little girl nodded through tears. I'm fine, Daddy. I'm fine. He hugged her tightly, then pulled back and turned to Mr. Bello, who was half crouched behind the broken staircase, barking orders into his radio. Get an ambulance, now. Tyler said. It's already on the way, Mr. Bello replied, his voice rough from smoke. But sir, this wasn't just a car bomb. That blast was remote-triggered. Someone outside did it. Tyler's jaw clenched. Vanessa? She's gone, Bello said grimly. The officers confirm it. But someone else activated that detonator. Tyler looked toward the gate. Police and firefighters swarmed the driveway, shouting into radios. The front half of Vanessa's car was unrecognizable, charred metal twisted like paper. A second police car was destroyed beside it. One of the officers, Lieutenant Hughes, hurried toward Tyler. Mr. Okonkwo, we need you and your family out of here. There could be a secondary device. My mother's injured, Tyler said, pointing toward the kitchen. And my kids. We'll get medics in, Hughes said. But you need to come with us now. Tyler didn't argue. He scooped Ava into his arms while Maya helped Adaeze to her feet. They stepped outside, the morning sun hidden behind clouds of gray smoke. Sirens wailed from every direction. As they reached the edge of the compound, Tyler's phone vibrated again. Same unknown number. This time a video file. He hesitated, then pressed play. The footage showed Vanessa's face, recorded sometime before the explosion. She sat in a dimly lit room, makeup perfect, voice calm and steady. "If you're seeing this," she said, "then I'm probably dead. But you should know, Tyler, that this isn't over. I'm not stupid. I made sure there were people who'd finish what I started. You think you can humiliate me, destroy me, and walk away like the perfect saint? You took everything from me. So now I'll take everything from you, even after I'm gone." The video ended with her whispering, "Watch your friends, not your enemies." Tyler's hand trembled slightly as he lowered the phone. Adaeze's voice came faintly beside him. "The grave is quiet, but vengeance echoes." Mr. Bello came up behind them. "Sir, the security footage before the explosion. Someone was inside the control room 30 seconds before it happened. That person walked out calmly just before the blast." "Who?" Tyler asked, his voice low. Bello hesitated. "It was Officer Hughes." Tyler froze. "The same Hughes who just told us to evacuate?" "Yes, sir." As if summoned by the words, Hughes turned around from the gate, his expression smooth, professional. "Mr. Okonkwo, everything's secure. We'll take your family downtown for safety." Tyler stared at him. The man's shirt sleeve was slightly torn near the wrist, revealing the edge of a black tattoo. A serpent circling a diamond. The same tattoo Vanessa had once shown him in private, on the wrist of the business friends she used to host at their home. She had called them the Circle. "Change of plans," Tyler said, forcing calm into his voice. "We'll ride in my vehicle instead. My security team will follow your lead car." Hughes's eyes flickered just for a second, then he smiled. "Of course, sir. Whatever makes you comfortable." As he walked back toward the convoy, Tyler whispered to Bello, "No one leaves with that man. Get a separate route ready." "Yes, sir," Bello said. A few minutes later, they were in a secure SUV heading toward the outskirts of Atlanta. The medics had wrapped Adaeze's arm. Maya sat silently staring out the window, and Ava slept in Tyler's lap, her small hand gripping his shirt. But Tyler's mind was racing. Vanessa's warning repeated itself. "Watch your friends, not your enemies." He looked at Bello in the passenger seat. "You trust every man in your team?" "I thought I did," Bello said. "But after what we've seen today, I'll trust only what I can verify." "Good," Tyler said. "Because we're not going to the station. We're going underground." Bello turned slightly. "To where?" "The old estate near Ogun Road," Tyler said. "The one I built before Vanessa came into my life. No one knows about it except you and the architect. We'll hide there until I find who's running the Circle." Bello nodded. "I'll contact the Lagos team. We'll trace her allies. Someone financed this operation." Tyler leaned his head back. His reflection in the window showed a man who had once built empires now sitting in the shadow of his own ruin. He thought of the wedding day, the cameras, the perfect smiles, Vanessa whispering, "We'll be unstoppable." And now she was unstoppable indeed, her ghost reaching farther than her living hands ever could. As the SUV sped away from the chaos, Maya's voice came softly from the back seat. "Dad, if she's gone, why does it still feel like she's watching us?" Tyler didn't answer. He stared ahead at the long, empty road and said, "Because evil doesn't need eyes to see." A minute later, Bello's phone buzzed. He frowned, then handed it to Tyler. The screen displayed an encrypted message traced from Vanessa's number. "Phase 3 begins at midnight." Tyler stared at it, expression hardening. "Then we stop waiting," he said. "We hunt." Night descended over the quiet stretch of Georgia countryside like a heavy blanket. The Okonkwo family's temporary hideout, a secluded estate ringed by tall pines and hidden surveillance, sat in eerie silence. The only sounds were the chirping of crickets and the occasional hum of generators keeping the lights alive. Inside, Tyler sat at the long mahogany table of the main hall, every muscle in his body tense. His suit was gone. Now he wore a black t-shirt and jeans, sleeves rolled up, revealing the small scar near his wrist. A reminder from years ago when he first built his empire from the streets of Lagos. He was no stranger to pressure, but tonight was different. Tonight he wasn't fighting for profit. He was fighting for survival. Mr. Bello stood beside him, laptop open, data streams scrolling down the screen. A satellite feed flickered between maps of Atlanta and Lagos, their two worlds now connected by something dark and vengeful. "The encrypted messages," Bello said, tapping the keyboard. "We traced the origin to a private server registered under Crown Dynamics Limited. That company was dissolved 3 years ago, but its former director is still active." Tyler frowned. "Name?" "Obinna Cole," Bello replied. "Ex-security consultant." He used to handle VIP protection for Vanessa's father before the man died. Looks like Vanessa reactivated him. Tyler's jaw tightened. If she planned this before she died, she didn't just want revenge, she wanted legacy. She wanted you ruined, Bello said. And anyone connected to you. Tyler's eyes flicked toward the next room. Through the open doorway, he could see Maya reading to Ava on the couch, their grandmother's injured arm now bandaged. Adaeze's voice floated softly from the background, reciting an old Igbo proverb. The lion does not turn when the small dog barks. Tell me she's safe, Tyler said quietly. Tell me that's enough. Bello didn't answer. Tyler's phone buzzed again. Another video file, same source, same encryption. He opened it. The footage showed a dark warehouse. Obinna stood there, tall, dark-skinned, muscular, his head shaved, a small cross tattooed behind his ear. Behind him were crates, tools, and two men loading weapons into a black van. Obinna smiled into the camera. Mr. Okonkwo, he said, voice smooth and mocking. Phase 3 begins now. You took our queen. You think her death stops us? No. It only crowned her. He raised a small device, a detonator. 3 properties in your name will go dark tonight. We're sending you a message. Your empire falls before you do. The video cut off. Bello's eyes widened. Sir, your orphanage in Lagos, your hospital project in Abuja, your real estate office downtown. Tyler stood sharply, his chair scraping the floor. Get me Lagos command now. Bello began dialing immediately, but before the line connected, an alert flashed across the laptop screen. Building fire detected. Okonkwo Foundation Orphanage, Lagos. Tyler's breath caught. No. The next alert followed instantly. Explosion at Okonkwo Medical Center, Abuja. The laptop speakers crackled. A terrified voice shouted over static, Sir, they're everywhere. Security systems disabled. Fire alarms. Then silence. Tyler's hands clenched into fists. They're wiping everything I built. Adaeze entered quietly. My son, what is it? They're attacking our people, he said. Vanessa's men, Obinna's group, they've hit Lagos and Abuja already. Adaeze's gaze steadied him. You can rebuild wealth, but you cannot rebuild life. Protect what breathes. He nodded. I will. Just then the security lights outside flickered. Bello spun toward the monitors. We've got movement on the perimeter, south fence. Tyler rushed to the screen. Grainy infrared footage showed 3 heat signatures moving low through the trees. They've found us, Bello said grimly. Get everyone to the safe room, Tyler ordered. Adaeze gathered the children, whispering prayers under her breath. Maya clutched Ava's hand, wide-eyed but silent, understanding the gravity of the moment. Tyler grabbed a pistol from the table, standard issue, black matte steel. Bello, seal the north gate and kill the exterior lights. Yes, sir. The room plunged into dim emergency glow. Footsteps echoed outside. Then, the sharp sound of metal scraping against the back door. Bello peered through a slit in the blinds. 2 men, maybe 3. Military posture. Night vision goggles. They're professionals. The first shot cracked through the night. Glass shattered, a bullet embedding in the far wall. Ava screamed. Get them below. Tyler shouted. Bello fired 2 quick rounds toward the door, forcing the intruders to duck. They've breached the outer corridor. Tyler pushed his mother and daughters toward the hidden stairway behind the bookshelf. Downstairs now. Maya hesitated. Dad. Go, he barked, voice breaking. They descended. Tyler turned back, weapon steady. 2 figures burst into the hall, both wearing tactical gear. One raised a rifle. Tyler fired first. The man dropped instantly. The second dove behind the couch, firing blindly. Bello moved up beside him, reloading. They're trying to flush us out. I'm not running, Tyler said coldly. This is my house. A loud bang shook the window frames. Another team was breaching the side entrance. Tyler aimed and fired again, another hit. But then something unexpected happened. A phone rang. Not his. Not Bello's. From the floor near the fallen intruder, a phone vibrated. Tyler kicked it over and glanced at the screen. The caller ID read Hughes. Bello, Tyler said slowly, Officer Hughes is calling one of the gunmen. Bello's face went pale. He's coordinating them. Tyler answered the call on speaker. You're a dead man, Hughes? The voice on the other end chuckled. Maybe. But not before you are. Who are you working for? Tyler demanded. The circle doesn't die, Mr. Okonkwo. We just change hands. Then the call cut off. Outside engines roared. More vehicles arriving, dozens of headlights flickering through the trees. "They've got reinforcements," Bello said. Tyler's eyes flicked toward the stairway where his family hid. He knew what he had to do. "Get them to the old tunnel," he said. "It leads to the creek half a mile south. Take them. Protect them." "What about you?" Bello asked. "I'll hold them off." "Sir, that's suicide." Tyler reloaded his weapon. "So is being a father who runs." Bello hesitated, then saluted sharply. "God be with you." He disappeared down the hidden passage with Adaeze and the girls. Tyler took position near the shattered window, moonlight cutting across his face. Shadows moved outside. He could hear their muffled voices, the clatter of rifles being readied. He took one deep breath, whispered a prayer his mother taught him in Igbo, Chidi Nandu, God is alive, and waited. The first man stepped through the doorway. Tyler pulled the trigger. Then the second. And the third. But there were too many. Bullets ripped through the room. Wood splintered. Sparks flew from the metal railing. Tyler dove behind the table, heart pounding. His clip emptied. He reached for another, slammed it in, and rose to fire again. Then he heard it, a distant scream. Ava's voice echoing faintly from below. Tyler's eyes widened. No. He spun and ran toward the hidden staircase. But as he reached it, a small blinking red light on the wall caught his eye. The timer. Counting down. 00:09. 00:08. 00:07. The circle had planted another bomb inside the house. And this time his family was still underground. The timer blinked furiously. 00:06. 00:05. 00:04. Bello? Tyler shouted, his voice echoing through the smoke-filled hallway. Get them out now. He sprinted toward the hidden staircase, ignoring the sting of gunpowder in his throat. The air was hot, thick with the smell of burnt wood and metal. Every second was an explosion waiting to happen. At the base of the stairs, Bello appeared, covered in dust, sweat glistening on his dark skin. We found the tunnel gate, he panted. But it's locked from the outside. Take this, Tyler said, thrusting his pistol into Bello's hand. Get them through, break it if you have to. And you? I'll stop the countdown. Bello's eyes went wide. You can't. I have no choice. Without another word, Tyler turned and sprinted toward the signal source, a narrow corridor leading to the old generator room. The walls were trembling now, plaster cracked with every vibration. Sparks rained from the ceiling as electrical wires snapped loose. In the dim light he saw it, the bomb. Crude, hand-built, mounted near the main gas line. Red wires coiled around a small black timer that was now counting down. 00:03. 00:02. He ripped off the outer panel and stared at the mess of wires. Blue for power, red for detonation, yellow for... The timer skipped a second. 00:01. He yanked the red wire. Silence. Then a click. The timer froze at midnight, beeping once before the light went dead. Tyler staggered backward, chest heaving. He had done it, barely. But there was no time to rest. The walls still shook from the gunfire outside. He grabbed the bomb casing, ripped out its trigger unit, and sprinted back toward the stairwell. When he reached the tunnel entrance, Bello was already there, forcing open the rusted metal door with a crowbar. Adaeze clutched the children tightly, whispering prayers through trembling lips. The door finally gave way, screeching open to reveal a cold underground passage lined with old pipes. Go, Tyler urged. Bello took point, leading the group into the narrow tunnel. Tyler followed last, his eyes darting back toward the flickering light of the burning mansion. The sounds of shouting grew closer. The circle was inside the house. Halfway down the tunnel, the ceiling above them cracked. Dust rained down, followed by the distant roar of collapsing walls. Maya screamed, Dad, they're catching up. Tyler turned. 3 shadows appeared at the tunnel's mouth, flashlights sweeping. Bullets whined off the concrete walls. Keep moving, he yelled. He fired blindly down the tunnel, forcing the men to duck. Bello grabbed a flashlight and smashed it against one of the support beams, causing sparks to shower into the attacker's path. They ran, lungs burning, until the tunnel opened into a small drainage canal outside the property. Moonlight reflected off the slow-moving water. We're out, Bello said. But we can't stay here, they'll track us. Tyler nodded, catching his breath. We head for the old airstrip at Oak Ridge. There's a private hangar there. My jet's still fueled. Sir, Bello said cautiously, if they've tapped your accounts, the hangar may be compromised. Then we find out fast, Tyler said. We move now. They waded through the shallow stream, the night pressing close around them. Crickets hissed. The girls clung to Adaeze as the group trudged toward the dirt road that led to the main highway. When they finally reached the edge of the forest, headlights appeared, a convoy of 3 SUVs approaching fast. Bello raised his gun. Cover. Wait. Tyler hissed. Those aren't the Circle's cars, they're unmarked security vehicles. That's my Lagos team. The lead SUV screeched to a stop. A tall man in tactical armor stepped out. Sir, it's Captain Duru, we got your alert. Tyler exhaled in relief. You're a sight for sore eyes. We tracked the attacker's signal from your compound, Duru said. They're not done. We intercepted radio chatter, they plan to hit you again tonight. And, sir, his expression darkened. It's not just Obinna. Someone from your own company has been funding them. Tyler froze. Who? Your CFO, Samuel Dyke. Tyler blinked, stunned. Samuel? He's been with me 10 years. Duru nodded grimly. He transferred money through offshore accounts under Vanessa's name. We've traced the payments to Obinna's network. Tyler's fists clenched. So she had help even before she died. Samuel was her inside man. Adaeze's voice was cold. That serpent dined at your table and smiled while you fed him. Tyler turned to Duru. We need Samuel alive. Where is he? Downtown Atlanta, Duru replied. At your main office. He's not alone. He's got armed guards and 2 of Vanessa's men with him. Tyler took a deep breath. Then that's where we go. Bello looked at him, uncertain. Sir, are you sure? After what happened tonight, they're expecting you. That's exactly why we strike first, Tyler said. No more hiding. He turned to his mother. Mama, you and the girls stay here with Captain Duru's 2nd unit. You'll be safe. This ends tonight. Adaeze caught his hand, her gaze firm. Do not fight with anger, my son. Fight with wisdom. He nodded, kissed her forehead, and turned toward Bello. Get the vehicles ready. Minutes later, the convoy roared down the highway, 3 SUVs slicing through the dark. Tyler sat in the passenger seat, his eyes locked on the horizon, mind replaying every moment since the morning his world fell apart. When they reached the city limits, he spoke without looking back. When we enter the building, we go silent. No mercy. We get Samuel. Alive if possible. Understood, Bello said. They parked 2 blocks from the Okonkwo Holdings skyscraper, its mirrored windows reflecting the full moon. The building was dark, save for a single light glowing on the top floor. Samuel's office. Tyler adjusted his grip on the gun. Let's finish this. They moved quickly, disabling the front security systems, ascending the stairwell in near silence. The higher they climbed, the louder the faint hum of generators grew. At the top floor they paused. Voices echoed from the main office, Samuel's voice, calm and commanding. Mr. Okonkwo won't make it through the night, he was saying. The Circle will finish the job before dawn. Tyler stepped forward, gun raised, and kicked open the glass door. Samuel froze mid-sentence, eyes wide. Tyler. You betrayed me, Tyler said quietly. For what? Money? Vanessa? Samuel swallowed. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think, Tyler said. You helped her. You helped them. Samuel's face twisted. She offered me more than you ever could, power, protection. And when you humiliated her, you humiliated us all. She's dead, Tyler snapped. And you'll join her if you don't tell me who else is in the Circle. Samuel smirked. You think killing me will stop it? Vanessa was just the spark. The Circle has roots everywhere. Nigeria, America. Everywhere you've built your name. They want you erased, Tyler. Then they'll fail, Tyler said, stepping closer. Samuel reached slowly toward his desk. You can't stop what's already. Bello fired. One clean shot. Samuel fell backward, the gun he'd been reaching for clattering onto the floor. Tyler stood over the body, his chest heaving. Bello looked at him. Orders, sir? Burn everything, Tyler said coldly. No trace. No data. No Circle. As the flames began to rise, Tyler stared out the window at the city skyline. Somewhere out there, Vanessa's legacy still lived, hidden in shadows, waiting. He knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the reckoning. The fire spread fast. Flames licked the glass walls of the Okonkwo Holdings tower, reflected in the dark windows like angry spirits. Smoke rose into the Atlanta night, sirens wailing in the distance. Tyler and Bello slipped out through the emergency exit, faces grim and hearts heavy. Behind them, the empire Tyler had spent 15 years building was burning to ashes. "Sir," Bello said as they reached the car, "we should move. Before the police trace this back to you." Tyler didn't answer immediately. He stood by the open car door, watching the fire twist and roar, illuminating the skyline like Judgment Day. "I didn't want it to end like this," he murmured. "But if this is what it takes to keep them safe, then so be it." He climbed into the SUV and Bello drove. The city lights blurred past, their reflections flickering across Tyler's face. "I got word from Captain Duru," Bello said. "Your mother and the girls are safe. They've been moved to a safe house near Savannah." Tyler exhaled softly, tension loosening just a little. "Good. That's all that matters now." "Sir," Bello continued carefully, "what if the circle retaliates again? We've taken out Vanessa, Obinna, and Samuel, but there could be more." "There are always more," Tyler said. "But tonight, we make them afraid of the shadows they live in." He pulled out a drive from his pocket, the one he had taken from Samuel's office before the gunfire. "Everything they've done, every payment, every hidden partner, it's all here. We end them at their source." Bello nodded. "We'll decode it at the bunker." They drove through the night, leaving the burning skyline behind. By dawn, they reached an abandoned airfield near the Georgia-South Carolina border. The sun rose blood-red over the misty runway, casting long shadows across the cracked tarmac. Inside a small hangar converted into a temporary command center, Tyler spread the contents of the drive on a laptop. Names, numbers, and offshore accounts filled the screen. "There," Bello said, pointing. "That's it. Look. Crown Dynamics Holdings, the same shell company that paid Obinna. But there's another name tied to it." Tyler leaned closer. "Who?" "Victor Kane." Tyler frowned. "The U.S. business partner who brokered our Lagos deal 2 years ago?" "The same," Bello said. "He's been funding the circle all along. He used Vanessa to gain access to your African subsidiaries. And with your company burning, he's probably coming to finish the job himself." Tyler clenched his jaw. "Then let's make sure he doesn't leave Atlanta alive." Before they could plan their move, Bello's phone rang. It was Captain Duru. "Sir," Duru said, voice taut with alarm. "We've been compromised. The safe house was hit." Tyler's heart stopped. "What?" "They came in the night, 2 vehicles heavily armed. We fought them off but—" Duru hesitated. "But what, Captain?" Tyler barked. "It's Maya, sir. They took her." For a moment the air left Tyler's lungs. The sound of the world faded into a dull roar. "No," he whispered. "No. They left a message," Duru continued. "Written on the wall. It says Phase 4, blood for blood." Tyler gripped the edge of the table, fury burning through every vein. "Where did they go?" "We're tracking them, sir," Duru said. "The signal leads to a private estate near Lake Lanier, owned by Victor Kane." Tyler's eyes darkened. "Then that's where it ends." He turned to Bello. "Get the team. Arm everyone. We're going to get my daughter." Hours later, black SUVs moved quietly through the dense woods surrounding Lake Lanier. The air was heavy with fog and tension. The lake shimmered faintly under the half-moon, its still waters hiding decades of secrets. Bello and 4 men moved silently beside Tyler, each carrying suppressed rifles. They wore dark tactical gear, no insignias, no names. At the far edge of the property, Victor Kane's mansion loomed, glass, steel, and arrogance. 2 guards patrolled the balcony. One of them was smoking, the other scrolled through his phone. 2 on the east side, Bello whispered. 3 more near the garage. Tyler nodded. "No noise. We do this clean." They moved like shadows, taking down the outer guards one by one. A chokehold here, a silenced shot there. No alarms, no screams. When they reached the main door, Tyler stopped. Through the tinted glass he saw a figure inside, tied to a chair. It was Maya. Her face was bruised, her hands bound, but she was alive. And standing over her, holding a pistol, was Victor Kane. Tyler's stomach twisted. He motioned for Bello to flank left while he entered quietly through the side. Inside, the air smelled of expensive cigars and menace. Kane's voice echoed off the marble walls. "Your father thought he could burn everything. But you, my dear, are the insurance policy." Maya's voice shook but didn't break. "He'll find you." Kane laughed. "He already has." Tyler stepped into the doorway. "You're right about that." Kane spun around, startled. "Tyler." Before he could finish, Tyler fired once. The bullet struck the gun from Kane's hand, sending it skittering across the floor. "Step away from her," Tyler said, advancing slowly. Kane raised his hands, smirking. Careful, my friend. You shoot me and you'll never find the others. What others? The circle doesn't end with me, Kane said. You think Vanessa built this? She was just another pawn. There are men above me, men who own half of Africa's economy, half of your so-called government. You can't win. Tyler's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. Watch me. Bello entered silently behind Kane, gun raised. But before they could move, Kane lunged toward a hidden console on the desk. Tyler fired again, one bullet straight to the leg. Kane screamed, collapsing to the floor. Deactivate whatever you triggered. Tyler shouted. Kane laughed bitterly, blood pooling beneath him. Too late. You think I didn't prepare for this? The estate's rigged. Every door, every car, every inch wired to blow. The circle loves symmetry. You destroyed your empire, they'll destroy you the same way. Bello ran to the desk, checking the console. Sir, he's not lying. Motion sensors are live. Cut them. Tyler yelled. I'm trying. Bello's fingers flew over the keyboard. Maya cried out, Dad, the floor, it's ticking. Tyler spun. A faint red light blinked beneath her chair. No. He dove forward, ripping the ropes free and dragging Maya across the floor. Move. The explosion tore through the room a heartbeat later. Fire, glass, and thunder filled the air. Tyler shielded Maya with his body as debris rained down. When the smoke cleared, half the mansion was gone. Bello stumbled through the wreckage, coughing. Sir. I've got her. Tyler shouted. Maya clung to him, coughing, her face streaked with soot but alive. Kane was gone, swallowed by his own fire. Tyler looked out at the burning ruins and whispered, This ends tonight. But in the distance, beyond the flames, headlights flickered, 4 black SUVs watching silently from the far hill. And in one of them, a figure wearing a red scarf lifted a phone to her ear and said, He survived. Proceed to Phase 5. The night sky above Lake Lanier glowed red, smoke curling into the heavens like a warning. Tyler stood amid the wreckage, his arms around Maya as embers floated past them. She was shaking, breath coming in fast bursts but alive. That was all that mattered, for now. Bello limped toward him, blood streaking down his temple. Sir, the secondary charges were localized. The rest of the property's stable. We've got maybe 10 minutes before law enforcement swarms this place. Tyler looked past the flames to the dark hill across the lake. The 4 SUVs that had watched the explosion were gone. They're regrouping, he said. Phase 5, whatever that means, it's not over yet. He turned to Maya, cupping her face gently. You're safe now, my girl. I promise you. Maya looked up at him through tear-rimmed eyes. Dad, she said something before you came. She said they'll take what you love most, then make you beg for it back. Tyler's stomach tightened. They're still coming. Bello's radio crackled. Captain Duru's voice came through, laced with static. Sir, be advised. The convoy protecting Madame Adaeze and the little one was ambushed outside Savannah. Repeat, your mother and Ava have been taken. For a moment the words didn't make sense. They hung in the air like ghosts. Then Tyler's heart slammed against his ribs. No, no, God, no. Bello grabbed his shoulder. Sir, we'll get them back. But we need to move now, every second counts. Tyler's face hardened. Get the chopper ready. We're ending this tonight. 2 hours later. The helicopter sliced through the humid Georgia air, its rotors thumping like war drums. Below, dark forests and winding highways blurred past. Tyler sat beside Bello, a headset pressed to his ear, eyes locked on the coordinates flashing across the tablet in his lap. They're at an abandoned quarry outside Macon, Bello said. Thermal scans show multiple heat signatures, maybe 8 or 9 hostiles. Your mother and daughter are alive but heavily guarded. Any sign of who's leading them? Tyler asked. Bello hesitated. One tall figure moving differently than the others. Not Obina. Not Kane. Whoever it is, they're the new head of the circle. Tyler's jaw tightened. Then we cut the head off the serpent for good. The helicopter landed behind a ridge overlooking the quarry. The night was still, broken only by the low hum of generators below. Floodlights illuminated the pit where Adaeze and Ava sat tied to chairs near the edge. A tall, dark-skinned woman in tactical gear stood before them. Her short-cropped hair gleamed under the lights, and in her hand was a sleek pistol with a silencer. Who is she? Tyler whispered. Bello zoomed in with binoculars. Her name's Ijeoma Okafor, Vanessa's cousin. Former military intelligence. She must have taken command after Kane's death. Tyler's eyes narrowed. Then she dies tonight. They crept closer along the ridge, every step silent. Bello signaled his men into position, flanking the camp from both sides. Tyler crawled to the edge, his pulse steady now, calm in the way a storm is calm before it hits. Below, Ijeoma raised her voice. "Tyler Okonkwo," she shouted, the sound echoing through the quarry. "You've cost my family everything, our name, our wealth, our blood. Come out and face the justice you owe." Adaeze lifted her chin, even bound. "You speak of justice while you hold a child at gunpoint? You're nothing but a coward in uniform." Ijeoma laughed softly. "Pride runs deep in your line, madam. Let's see if it survives a bullet." She cocked the pistol and pressed it against Ava's temple. Tyler rose from cover, gun in hand. "Stop," he shouted, voice cutting through the night. "Ijeoma. It ends with me." The quarry fell silent. All eyes turned to him. Ijeoma smiled coldly. "There you are. The mighty billionaire finally bleeds like the rest of us." "Let them go," Tyler said, stepping closer. "You want revenge? You take it from me." She tilted her head. "You think you can bargain with me after killing my cousin? After burning everything she built?" "She built hatred," he said. "I'll bury it with you." Bello's voice crackled in Tyler's earpiece. "On your mark, sir." Tyler glanced at Adaeze. Their eyes met, a silent exchange of faith and courage. He lifted his hand slightly, pretending to surrender. "You win, Ijeoma. Just don't hurt my family." She smirked. "Wise choice." Then she raised her gun, not at Tyler but at Adaeze. Tyler dropped his hand sharply. "Now." Gunfire erupted from both ridges. Bello's men opened fire, bullets tearing through the quarry's floodlights. Darkness swallowed the camp as chaos erupted. Tyler sprinted forward, firing at the guards who lunged for cover. Sparks danced across metal crates as bullets ricocheted. Ijeoma grabbed Ava and pulled her toward a waiting truck. "Stay back or the child dies," she screamed. Tyler didn't slow. He aimed for her shoulder and fired. The bullet struck true, she spun and fell, dropping her gun. Ava ran free, crying, "Daddy?" Tyler reached her in 3 strides, sweeping her into his arms. "I've got you, baby. I've got you." Behind him, Bello fought off the remaining guards with brutal precision. But Ijeoma wasn't finished. Bloodied, furious, she pulled a knife from her boot and lunged at Tyler. Adaeze, still tied, kicked her leg out just as she struck. The blade sliced the air, missing Tyler's side by inches. Tyler turned and fired one last time. The shot hit her square in the chest. Ijeoma staggered, eyes wide, mouth forming silent words before she collapsed onto the gravel. Silence. Then only the crackle of burning generators and the soft sob of relief from Ava's lips. Bello approached, breathing hard. "It's done, sir." Tyler knelt beside his mother, cutting the ropes with his pocket knife. "Are you hurt?" Adaeze shook her head, tears glistening. "Not hurt, my son. Only grateful." Maya appeared moments later, escorted by Duru's team, her face lighting up as she saw them. The family embraced, 3 generations bound by survival. Tyler looked at the bodies scattered across the quarry, the wreckage of another battle won but not without cost. "It's over," Bello said quietly. Tyler stared at the horizon where dawn was beginning to break, a faint gold cutting through the dark. "No," he said. "It's just peace for now. Evil doesn't die, it sleeps. But when it wakes again, it will find us ready." Adaeze smiled faintly, laying a hand on his shoulder. "Then rest, my son. For even lions sleep after the hunt." Tyler pulled his daughters close, the wind carrying the scent of smoke and morning rain. The circle had been broken. Vanessa's vengeance had consumed itself. But in the ashes, Tyler knew something true. A man's greatest empire isn't made of glass and money, it's the family that still stands when everything else burns. He looked up at the rising sun and whispered, "We're going home." Speech balloon. What would you have done if you were Tyler Okonkwo? Would you have fought like him, or walked away to protect your peace? Share your thoughts below in the comments. Round pushpin. Also, tell us where you're watching from, your city or country. Thumbs up. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share if this story gripped you till the end. More heart-stopping African folktales like this await you in the next episode.